Welcome back, everyone. We got another episode of Ryan, Coop, and the Doc. On my left, Arizona sports legend Bruce Cooper. And on my right, Arizona dental legend Dr. Ken Snyder. Guys, today is a very, and I know these are supposed to be evergreen and we're supposed to be able to watch these 10 years from now and not know what day it is, but today is a special day. Coop, do you know what day today is?
But do I know the day? I don't know, Ryan, but I got a really crickety knee right now. I mean, I feel like I have arthritis or something. I don't know what's going on.
Is it because you are 75 years old today?
I don't think I'm 75.
Hey.
Is there someone that's 75 today?
There is. Happy birthday to our main guy, Dr. Ken Snyder. That's a big birthday. Wow. 3/4 of a century.
Here's a present that we're getting you.
This is what's going to keep it all together in your old age.
Just going to keep my dentures in.
Yeah, exactly. You just paste that on there.
Do you know what it tested my age? How long it would take this to go through it?
Oh, we've hit a new show low.
Yeah, but I do love peanut butter.
Well, happy birthday, Doc.
Thank you.
Why'd you give him peanut butter?
Well,
what does that mean?
Well, it was just here.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey, that's because we're coming to you from St. Vincent de Paul's Food Reclamation Warehouse. This is where the real work gets done. We are shipping out food every single day of every single week to make sure that every corner of our state can get what they need to give to families. And guys,
isn't that phenomenal?
It is such incredible work, and it's not the same kind of work, but we are champions of our own business, and we're trying to crown some NBA champions right now too.
Yeah, look, I'm still reeling from the Phoenix Suns debacle there, but hey, we're down to the Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors. I do like the Celtics to win it all, and I say that just because I like their defensive tenacity and their length on the wings, and so I think that could prove to be the difference against a great shooting team like Golden State. What say you, Doc?
Well, first of all, I'll say Coop doesn't have a neurological disorder. There's flies.
Oh my God!
Flies floating around in here, so if you see some hands going up and down. But I personally took the Golden State Warriors. We're in the little pool at St. Vincent de Paul here, and I don't want to say who's ahead.
Who's winning that pool?
Some 75-year-old guy.
Oh, okay.
But I think Golden State's experience, and I kind of feel like the other night, Klay Thompson had probably one of the worst nights ever, and yet they won. And I think the Golden State's in a better position to have a key person have a bad night and yet win as opposed to the other way around.
What say you, Ryan?
Well, I think it's going 7 games. I think this is a pretty interesting series. I think when you look at it, you either have sort of new age NBA centers or sort of not centers at all between Draymond Green and Robert Williams. And I know Kevon Looney comes in and is sort of it. But these are all guys who can run the floor, who are tall, kind of lanky guys, block shots. So it's a really interesting matchup, and I think it really comes down to who gets hot shooting the three. To me, that favors Golden State just a little bit, but boy, this is going to be a shootout. You can play a little defense. Boston can play a little defense. Golden State is an underrated defensive team based on how they can switch just about everything. But I think this comes down to just Golden State having the experience and being able to hit more shots.
So we have 2 Golden States and 1 Boston. I guess we shall find out.
It's how many games do you think it'll go, Coop?
I actually have Boston in 6.
And I have Golden State in 6, so Ryan thinks 7,
Ooh.
but yeah.
Man, well, I'll tell you what. Our next guest is not going to wait for this thing to go 7 games. And this is someone who I've gotten the pleasure to work with for the last 9 years. Doc, significantly longer because, well, I'm not going to call them both old, but
you
can call me old, but
Shannon, don't hold this against me. It's all for the show. But I'll tell you what, this person is a very, very special guest. Someone who lives the work of St. Vincent de Paul every day. Someone who you'll equally find behind her desk, out in the community, or maybe even in food rec. And we want to introduce you to our special guest, Shannon Clancey.
Wow. Doc, what a fantastic honorary guest we have with us today. Hey, why don't you introduce her to our viewers here?
Yeah, we do have quite a guest. We have none other than St. Vincent de Paul's very own Shannon Clancey, who is the Associate CEO here at St. Vincent de Paul. And as of October, this coming October, she will be the main cog. She's going to be, yeah, for sure. Shannon, tell us, how long have you been here at St. Vincent de Paul?
Well, I've been here a few stints, so this isn't my first time. All told, it's been about 19 years.
Wow.
But I have 4 kids, and so I came back and forth a little bit. So this is my 3rd stint, and I've been grateful to be part of St. Vincent de Paul and watch our mission grow in the community and watch more people get involved. It's just been a real blessing to be here.
Yeah. And I actually don't know any person on this planet who's more empathetic or caring about people. And I've seen tears in your eyes many times. and with good reason, because you are out there. You know, a lot of times people think of a CEO or associate CEO, someone behind the desk, whatever, but you are out there day in, day out, dealing with the people that come here for help, and you are such a blessing to this organization. Are there any stories that really, really stick in your mind over these 19 years?
You know, I think there's really thousands of stories, and most of them happen in little moments where people come together. And I think that's what's made St. Vincent de Paul so special over these years, is that you have these folks that are struggling come together with folks who are trying to offer help, and you see that connection between people. So for me, some of it is moments that my kids have been here volunteering, and I see a moment that changes their life. And so I actually have a good one. My oldest son was volunteering in our Dream Center all summer before he went to college. And you know, as all 17, 18-year-old young men, wasn't quite sure, what am I really accomplishing every day? And I think he wasn't quite sure. He would play chess with the kids. And then he went off to college. And at Thanksgiving, he was home, and I said, Bud, why don't you come with me to, you never know who might show up in the dining room. Sometimes Larry Fitzgerald has been there. Sometimes Devin Booker has been there. Why don't you come along with me? We'll come to the dining room. Unfortunately, they weren't there that night. But when Quinn walked in the door, one of the little boys was sitting playing chess, and he said, Quinn, where have you been? I've missed you. I've missed you. And that had been 4 or 5 months since Quinn had been around. And as we left the dining room that day, he said, you know what? I had no idea that meant so much to him. And I thought about that lesson that I could have spent those whole 18 years trying to teach him, that each one of us, just by coming together with someone else, by caring, by playing chess, which he had to try really hard to beat him because those kids were really good and he spent all summer trying to win, that it taught him that it mattered. That it matters when we reach out to connect with one another. And so there's so many stories like that happen. And I'm grateful for this place that gives all of us that opportunity every day to see the depths for which people will go in order to care for one another and to support one another. And that's really the blessing of our mission at St. Vincent de Paul.
Yeah. And over the course of a lifetime, I'm sure that interaction will have much more meaning for Quinn than had it been Devin Booker or Larry Fitzgerald.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And something that, you know, you try as I never could have conveyed that. And so, but those things happen for young people and for older people, people of all ages every day, where we come and we find our meaning and purpose and joy in service, and we get so much out of it. And that's really the blessing, to work alongside folks like you and so many others in the community.
Well, Shannon, we know that there's a lot of campaigns that go on throughout a course of a year here at St. Vincent de Paul. We partner with so many different agencies and organizations. We have a water drive coming up here with ABC 15 that's actually started. I'm curious from your standpoint, when we have these different, I guess, drives that take place, I mean, what is the ultimate goal that takes place in terms of serving the community?
Sure. Certainly the goal of trying to meet needs that are going on. So as we have temperatures that hit 110 plus for consecutive days, people can die out on the streets. And so that's what we do here. We try to meet some of those needs in the community to try to care for people who just need a little extra help. But I think even more what the campaigns do is they give all of us in the community the opportunity to just do our one little thing. You know, and sometimes we think that that has to be some grand, you know, I don't have $1 million and I might not be able to volunteer every day. But I think it gives people the opportunity to buy, you know, a case of water. You know, $5 donation, that can save a life. And so what I most appreciate about partnerships with ABC 15, Bash's Food City, like we're doing in the water drive right now, is not only that those partners, we come together and try to care for our community, but it really gives the entire community that opportunity to do their little thing. You know, maybe they can share an hour of time. Maybe they can donate a bottle of water. Maybe they can make a monetary donation. But when they do, that makes our community better. And St. Vincent de Paul is at the heart of it, really just that common ground place where people can come together to care for one another. And we all feel so much better about the community that we're part of.
You know, Shannon, I think a lot of us, when we drive around, we see the people here in the valley in need, but there are remote or rural areas. Can you educate our viewers relative to that?
Well, yeah, right. There's people all over our state, really, that have needs. And what's a beautiful part of St. Vincent de Paul is our Vincentians. And they are special volunteers that go out all over, as I know you've accompanied some of them, just regular people. Regular people that have some time to share, that have a heart for others, and are delivering food boxes, are delivering some of that water, are making sure that their neighbors have what they need in order to survive. And I think that's another special thing about St. Vincent de Paul that I've been blessed by all these years, is you see just regular, ordinary people, nothing special. They're not looking for credit. They're just out there and they are moved and they know they have time and they have heart to share, and they're trying to meet those needs. We're paying rents out there, we're keeping people in their homes, delivering food, making sure if someone needs a car repair because their job is far away that we can do that. And that's really St. Vincent de Paul at its best. All of us out in the community coming together to help one another and do what we can.
My final question here, and I don't want to get it back to Doc here, but Doc talked about it earlier. You're replacing Steve Zabilski as the CEO come later this winter. Are there any special challenges or pressures that come about with being the person in charge here?
Sure. Well, I'm not sure, you know, replacing Steve Zabilski is probably not at the top of anyone's list because he's been such a tremendous servant leader in our community for so many years. So I've been honored and blessed to work alongside him for all those years, to be mentored and to have him as a role model of what it means to shoulder the responsibility. And so, but I come back to, and I know he would say the same thing, St. Vincent de Paul is really all of us. You know, we say the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, and it's really all of us. And the people that we have here, the employees that we have, the volunteers, the partners, the donors out in the community, they're such a great blessing. And every day, I think we all contribute in whatever role we have in order to be able to serve the mission. And so to be able to do that and to lend whatever gifts and talents that I have for my time, you know, for the time that we all have here together, to be able to support the community in that way and continue to really embrace and open up opportunities for people who are looking for their, you know, we all have that thing inside that is our calling. And how do we give people opportunities to live out their calling in the community? So it really is a great privilege and a blessing for me to work alongside. And you know, as one of our volunteers, 90-year-old volunteers told me, he said, you know what, just don't mess it up. So that's going to be my goal. Just don't mess it up. I told him that was really good advice, and I will take that to heart. And every day, get up every day. I'm just going to try not to mess it up.
That's what my wife Joanne tells me every morning.
Right, for sure. If we were all doing that every day, and sure, some things happen, but we have to trust in something bigger here.
Definitely.
And I think I've certainly, I could have shared 1,000 stories about how, whatever the Holy Spirit, whatever it is, that intervenes at just the right time, and we realize that we're just playing a bit part here.
Yeah.
That really there's something bigger that's going on.
And it's true.
And we have the privilege of playing our bit part for whatever length of time we have to allow the mission to continue.
Yeah, and one thing you touched on with the volunteers, a lot of people, they know that we feed, clothe, house, and heal, but they don't realize that a huge part of our mission is providing opportunities for volunteers. And I've had, in all the years at the dental clinic, so many people come through and they say, I came through to make a difference in the lives of people less fortunate myself. And they said, and the life that was changed the most was my own. And it really makes you appreciative of all the things all the gifts you have to offer and how many people out there need those gifts. I'll close it on this. If anyone's looking for an unbelievable St. Patrick's Day party to go to, Shannon and her husband Dan, every year, they throw the best. So
thanks for that.
Yeah, Shannon,
Right.
thanks so much.
You just have to wear your green, that's all.
Oh, yeah. Thanks so much for joining us, and good luck in the future. And I know all of St. Vincent de Paul is around you 100%, and no doubt in my mind, we're going upward and higher. So.
Well, thank you both for what you do, and just thank you to all of your viewers and the people out there that make St. Vincent de Paul what it is, because we're just in the middle, the conduit for people's generosity and love. So
exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shannon. Shannon's, she's the real deal. As I mentioned in the interview, I mean, she walks the talk. She's out there in the trenches, not an office type person. And I just have the highest respect for Shannon. And I don't think St. Vincent de Paul, with the transition and her being used to the organization for all these years, I don't think we could have asked for a better transition for Steve, who, with him, Steve, I mean, it's just going to be an amazing ride for Shannon.
Speaking of transition, how about if we transition into our adopted patient?
Some of these, they just break your heart, Yeah. It's a young fella. His name's Matthew G. And the doctor who will be treating him, one of our residents, Dr. Hedera, he gave me a little letter that, he kind of wrote up on Matthew's behalf. He said he shared with me that he had depression growing up, and with kids bullying him because of his teeth, his confidence went down significantly and it affected his life. When he started treatment before he turned 20, he had some temporary teeth that were constructed for him, and he mentioned how he was starting to get compliments and everything, and felt good about himself, and he started to have hope that things would be better, but he couldn't afford to go back and get the permanent ones put in, and therefore, over a period of time, the temporaries wear and deteriorate, and he's been that way for quite a while now. So he's a young guy. He's in his mid-30s. He's going to actually need multiple extractions. He's going to need 13 extractions. He has a number of fillings. 13 extractions, yeah. Jeez. Yeah. He's going to need some contouring of the bone. Obviously, in a private office, you'd have to do the exam and all the x-rays that go with that. And then he's going to need an upper and lower partial denture, not a full denture, but we're going to take advantage of some of the teeth he has remaining to reconstruct his mouth. So on the outside, 13 extractions, 3 or 4 fillings, exam, x-rays, contouring the bone, which is a surgical procedure, and constructing an upper and lower partial denture. What would your guys' guess be on the outside?
Jeez, I feel bad for him already. I mean, 13 extractions alone is...
And a lot of them are just root tips that are broken off now at this point, yeah.
Doc, with all that sounds like a yeoman's-like type of job there. I'm going to say $22,000 on the outside.
Yeah, I'll do 17. 17 on the outside.
Okay, depending on the office, it'll come in average about 15. So actually not quite as bad as what you guys thought. Now,
yeah, that's not bad. $1,000 per extraction, and they don't even charge you for the fun. Jeez.
But you do get a free gauze. That's but here at St. Vincent de Paul, where we only charge for materials and not labor, what would you guess we could do it here at St. Vincent de Paul?
15 on the outside. I'm going to say 15 here. 1,500.
I'm just going to go with Coop because that's exactly the number that I had. We'll go together.
Wow. I'll tell you what, we just won a double header here. That's exactly what it would be.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How about
$1,500. $1,500. So that's almost 10 to 1.
Hey,
I can't believe that number one, $1,500 is going to do all that dental work.
Right.
Number two, you talk about kind of where he started and feeling depressed because of bullying and what was going on in his, like no kid should feel that.
Yeah, and you know, look, kids get bullied for all different types of things, and one of the easiest targets is the outward appearance.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, and a smile, like you talk about all the time, Doc, a smile, it can change one's life dramatically. Yeah. And so to see that this young man is going to have his life dramatically changed for the better, I'm so happy to hear it.
And not only socially and psychologically, but economically, what these different ones that we're able to earn, and people who've been adopted and gone on, and have sometimes doubled, even tripled, or beyond that, their earnings. And so it makes a huge economic impact on them. And I always, that's one of the things I am quick to tell donors about. It's nice to give people back their smile, and that means so much. But from an economic standpoint, to help them, get out of the hole that they're in, it means everything.
Yeah. You know what would mean a lot to me? If we could avoid Ryan's riddle for the week. I mean, can we do that? Is that possible?
We could. Our producer Chris the Canuck wants us to avoid this because it's a lot of work for him, and he's tired of hearing my riddles. There you are, big man. All right. There you are. Okay, here we go.
Oh,
it's Ryan's riddles.
Oh my gosh.
All right, friends, here we go. We're going to challenge Bruce Cooper once again. Coop, are you ready?
I was born ready, I think. Let's see. I mean, I can never, I have gotten, I think, 2 in my lifetime. I think I got 2 of these riddles right.
Hey, your average is like Klay Thompson shooting.
Yeah.
Geez.
Oh, boy. Okay, here we go. Coop, what sounds like a sneeze but is made out of leather?
A shoe. Right?
Say it again.
A shoe.
God bless you.
Yeah. God bless you. Coop, you're on a roll. You're on a roll, buddy.
Bruce Cooper coming up through the school of hard knocks of Ryan and Doc and Ryan's riddles. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Sit down. The camera can't see you. Man, Coop's in a...
Hey, I'm on a roll. Give me another one. I'm on a roll. Yeah.
Bruce Cooper's been on TV for almost 4 decades. And he's cheering, and he's so excited about Ryan's riddles that he's getting out of the camera frame. He's standing up. This is the most excitement Coop has had.
Absolutely. How about that?
Here we go.
How about that?
Bruce Cooper on a roll.
Crazy.
And you know what? Here's what's also on a roll. The complex questions that we get from these viewers who keep wanting to know about dental topics. So I can't wait. I mean, there's only, how many teeth are there? There's only 32?
Well,
so
if
we
you count the baby teeth,
we should be out of questions in a while, right? All right. It's Doc's mailbag.
Okay.
A galloping.
Let's see what we got.
A galloping.
Mary C. writes, Dear Doc, when it comes to orthodontic treatment, which is better, braces or Invisalign?
Or who?
Braces or Invisalign?
Oh, Invisalign, okay.
And Invisalign is kind of a, it was the original, non-braces treatment, but now there's so many others like Sure Smile and different ones. So there's many of them out there. First of all, have either of you ever had braces?
I had braces.
No, but I think Invisalign is probably a lot easier. You don't have to go through all the. I mean, you can actually take them off when you go to bed at night. You don't have that cumbersome metal all stuck in your mouth.
Well, in a sense, you do, because you do have to wear them for 22 hours a day.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. So you're expected to wear them for 22 hours a day, and they're. They kind of are easier, but I thought what I would do is I would attack it from 3 areas. 1, the effectiveness. 2, the comfort, and 3, the cost. And first of all, as far
I'm interested in the cost.
Okay. You don't care how they look when you're done, as long as it
Nope. No, I mean, come on. You're putting yourself through pain and all this stuff. Get it right.
Well, we just got done talking how important a smile is. So let's,
well, I said get it right. That's the first thing I said.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Okay. As far as effectiveness, if you have severe crowding, you should get the braces put on, okay? Because the aligners, and those who aren't familiar with that, it looks kind of like a mouth guard. You put it in and there's a whole series you go through and they do little movements. But as far as actually, major tooth movement, or sometimes we have to put on what we call palatal expanders to open up the palate so the teeth will fit right. And the dentist has a lot more control over how fast they should move and what direction they should move, and so that's huge as far as like I say, if you have severe crowding. If you have minor crowding, I think the aligners are perfect. As far as comfort, okay, the aligners you can. They'll cause a little discomfort for maybe a day or so because they are putting pressure on the teeth and so forth. Obviously, the braces show a lot more discomfort because you have all that hardware in there. When they tighten them up for a few days, I mean, it's really tight. It can cause you a headache. Sometimes your lips or gums will rub, or your tongue will rub on the braces. You'll get a sore spot. Most of the time, the orthodontist will give you a little package of wax that if something feels sore, you can go ahead and put it on. Sometimes they leave a little butt at the end of the wire, and as the teeth move, it'll move back a little bit, and you have to go in and get the tail end clipped again.
But to Ryan's question about cost, I mean, what are we looking at?
Okay, we're getting to that. Oh. So with the cost, surprisingly, the aligners aren't necessarily cheaper. In fact,
really?
With the cost, as far as the aligners, they can be anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000, and you have to wear a series of trays. And you have to change them every 2 weeks. Now, here's the thing. A big advantage, and the ortho itself, or the brackets can cost anywhere from $4,000 to $10,000. But I would say, except for real severe cases, probably are going to be the $4,000 to $6,000. So it isn't. It's flip a coin. Which one, depending on the case, is going to be more expensive.
I would have thought that the metal hardware would be more expensive.
Actually not, because they have to machine all these different trays, and you get a whole series of them, and you have to change them. The good thing about the brackets, when they're on, you're not going to leave them at home. You're not going to accidentally throw them in the trash can after a meal. With children, there's no question about compliance. They put under their pillow and pretend that they have it in. So, you're actually going to have it in. If you are a movie star or a celebrity like yourself, Coop, you might where you don't want the the brackets showing. But again, today we know a lot of adult people that it's not. Hey, they're happy to show. Hey, look, I'm getting my teeth fixed, so that's not a problem. The only other thing I would say is as far as eating. Now with the brackets, you have to be careful what you eat. You can't eat any gooey, sticky foods because they're going to stick to your brackets. You can't bite down on hard things. You're going to knock brackets off and be back at the orthodontist getting them put on. With the aligners, you can eat anything you want, but you do have to take them out to eat because you'll destroy them like in one meal if you're chewing on them and that. So and of course, as far as keeping it clean, the aligners you can rinse off nice and easy. The others, with the brackets, you got to floss, and we have little brushes we give you to keep it clean because it's really important. Otherwise, you get the brackets off and you have decay all over your mouth. If it was my child, and 3 of my kids did have braces. My child up until the age of maybe high school or beyond, I would go with the brackets because they're going to be compliant. They're not going to lose them. They're not going to, again, if it's an adult that's kind of shy about wearing the brackets, then the aligners are great.
So, decay, pain, lots of money. I hope our next mailbag participant asks a yes or no question. And with that, guys, thank you for another great opportunity to spend time together. And Doc, if you're true to your teeth,
they won't be false to you, no matter if you're 75 years or older.
happy birthday.
Thanks.